Hello, 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 and welcome back for another edition of the Believe in Lions podcast. Not a victory edition yet. Instead, we've got a Thanksgiving to prepare for. We're talking all the goods. We're talking turkey, stuffing, and Lions football. And of course, I am joined by the one, the only, the all pro safety with a 5-2 record on the Thanksgiving Day game, even winning before he came to Detroit, before he was a member of the Lions, still gets a W on Thanksgiving. It is the one, the only, Glover Quin.
Yes, sir. 5-2. How you doing, man?
Great, great. All excited for the World Cup. Got my Canada jersey on because they play this afternoon. And real excited for the game tomorrow. Can't wait to take in the Thanksgiving atmosphere live and in person.
Man, it's gonna be dope, man. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have a parade going on downtown. Um, it's a huge thing, man. It's a huge tradition for the Lions. The performances are always dope. I don't know who they got performing at halftime. Is it BB Rexa maybe?
Yeah, BB Rexa and David Guetta.
Yeah, so the halftime performances be dope, man. It's just a great environment, great atmosphere, great time. The energy is high. It's Thanksgiving, man. Everybody's so in a great mood and just ready to have good. And the Lions generally play good on Thanksgiving, you know. So should be a fun day, man. Should be a fun day against a good team.
What's the typical Thanksgiving morning ahead of the game like? Because it's only a half hour difference from the Sunday morning games or Sunday afternoon games. But does that change things at all, or is it just pretty much business as usual?
Well, the thing that changes it is and it may not be this way right now because I don't know exactly where the team stays right now for, before the game. Because when I was playing there, we used to stay downtown at the Westin, right? Couple blocks from Ford Field, nice hotel downtown. Um, but the thing that we would run into on Thanksgiving morning is the parade, right? So they will have a lot of the streets and stuff blocked off because the parade would be going basically right by where we were. So it was always for me it wasn't a big deal because I used to go to the game so early, right? But for other players, I think they used to make us take buses or they had to go alternate routes to get there because of the parade and the streets being blocked off. So that was a little thing that could have caused some issues. Guys that maybe trying to show up late, and next thing you know, they get a couple roads blocked off or something like that. But nowadays, I don't know if they still stay downtown for home games. I know my last year when Coach Patricia was there, we didn't stay downtown. We stayed at a different hotel. So I don't know where they actually stay right now. But that's a really it. It's just a lot going on downtown. You got to get there a little earlier, like you say, it's 30 minutes early. So that don't change much. But yeah, it's just a lot going on, man. And the stadium for when I was playing there, the stadium would be kind of empty for a while because everybody was out kind of enjoying the parade. And then closer you got to game time, everybody starts piling in. And, once you came out for the game time, it was different energy in the building. So it should be a fun day.
Football is back, and Bet Online remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, hockey, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online where the game starts. It should be. The energy is going to be high. Hopefully, the fans are rocking because they have been lately. Lions giving them lots to cheer about. But even when the Lions haven't been great, Thanksgiving still just feels different. Lions play well on Thanksgiving. I remember there was one year against the Patriots that I actually got to go to the game too, and it was Tom Brady in his prime, and the Lions held with them until the fourth quarter. Just never know what you're going to get on Thanksgiving. Unless you're Glover Quin, you know you're probably going to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy playing on Thanksgiving. The first time I went out there, because I grew up as a football fan, right? So when you're growing up in where I'm from, the regular TV game on Thanksgiving Day is going to be the Detroit Lions. So when we would get together, my family would come in town, cousins come in from out of town. We're gathering for Thanksgiving. We could always watch that early morning things Lions game before we went outside to play football. So getting to see Barry Sanders and go out and do what he do on Thanksgiving Day, and the next thing you know, I'm going outside and I'm trying to play and run and move like Barry Sanders. So I kind of grew up on that, and so when I finally got a chance to play on Thanksgiving, my first time I was with the Houston Texans and we played the Detroit Lions. That was just a cool moment. I was on the other side of it, but it was still a cool moment. It was a great game. The Texans ended up getting a win in the overtime thriller. Um, but that was a fun game. And then when I came to Detroit and being able to be on the Detroit side of things and get a part of that tradition and the history of it, and it just kind of like came full circle to me. So it was always a special moment for me, special game. I enjoyed playing in all of them. Um, like you said, I had a pretty good record on Thanksgiving Day. So it was just cool for me to experience that.
Couple blowouts you were in. You had the OT thriller 34-31, but then your first year with the Lions, you stomped the Packers 40 to 10.
Yeah, and they're gonna say Aaron Rodgers didn't play, but it doesn't matter. We still smacked them.
They they love to go to that excuse. Oh, there was no Aaron Rodgers. Okay, well, you're okay putting up 10 points just because
Right,
you don't have Aaron Rodgers.
right.
Aaron Rodgers didn't allow
It
40 points.
right, I was about to say your defense. Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense.
Wild,
Yeah,
just wild. And then you beat the Bears 34-17. Then you
I think
stomped the Eagles too 45-14.
yeah, I think I had a pick in that Bears game
I think
in
you did.
2014.
Oh, you did. I did
I
write
think
that down.
I think that was the start of my 4 picks in 4 consecutive weeks because we had came off of playing 2 away games against uh the Patriots and the Cardinals, and we lost both of those games, I think. Or maybe I know we lost to the Patriots. I can't remember if we lost to the Cardinals or not. But then we came back and we started with that Thanksgiving Day game against Chicago. I think I caught a pick in that one. Then came back the next week against Tampa, caught another one the next week against Minnesota, caught another one in the week 16 against Chicago, caught another one. So yeah, Thanksgiving was good to me in 2014. It's been great. Like I said, all those games were great. I mean, we played Philly. We smacked them. I think I got hurt that game, hurt my ankle in like the second quarter. Then we came back the next year. I think, like you said, I think we lost to Minnesota. And I caught a pick that game, but got called back pass interference on Slay. Come on, man. And then my last year again with Matt Patricia, we lost on Thanksgiving again. So yeah.
So, what are you expecting for this Thanksgiving? Because the Bills are going to be quite the test. Jamal Williams coming off a career day with the 3 touchdowns, but that's something we talked about because the Lions didn't have to play DeAndre Swift. They were comfortable just grinding it out with Jamal Williams. Do you think they're going to try that again after the Bills just bottled up Nick Chubb, or are we going to see more Swift and more kind of explosive plays?
I think we'll see more swift and more explosive plays. I don't think they'll try to overpower the Bills. I think the Bills got a pretty solid defensive line. So I don't think they'll try to overpower him, but I do feel like, short yardage and, goal line situation, they're gonna trust what they've done. They're gonna trust their O line. They got a big O line that is powerful, and Jamal is a powerful running back. So I think they'll give them some opportunity. Um, but I think the Lions deep offense can give those guys some problems with DeAndre Swift being able to almost take a week off last week and get healthier, especially with a short turnaround this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown seems to be rounded into form. DJ Chark got a couple reps last week, so he should be a little better this week. I think the Lions offensively, the way they spread the ball around and move guys around, I think they can give the Bills some problems. It's gonna be a tough task. But I think they can do it. And the Bills corners aren't the strongest, that I've seen. I think they got a couple injuries. I know their safeties are pretty good, Micah Hyde and um, Jordan Poyer. And I haven't watched the Bills, recently, so I don't know if those guys are healthy and playing right now as well. But I know they've kind of been teetering these last few weeks. They've lost a couple and they beat the Browns, but they lost to a team. I can't remember who they lost to. But these last 3 or 4 weeks has been kind of up and down with the Bills. And so um, coming into their second week in Ford Field on Thanksgiving Day. That's the thing that makes me, when I think about my picks, it's like, man, Lions are tough to beat on Thanksgiving Day, man. They're tough to beat on Thanksgiving Day. So I don't know what to expect, man. It should be a great game, though. Should be a great game. If they can, contain Stephon Diggs, I think the Lions have a chance.
Lions are going to be able to put up points on the Bills. Just to talk about the secondary for a second, Micah Hyde, he's out for the year. Poyer might play. He's got an elbow injury, but
Yeah,
he's kind of been in and out of the lineup. We'll see if we get him. And at corner, they don't have Tre'Davious White. He's still day to day coming off
right.
the ACL. He's been day to day for 3 months now. I wouldn't expect to see him make his debut just yet.
Yeah, I think the Lions that have the upper hand. 'Cause like I said, I've been noticing that the Bills secondary, and I knew Jordan was dealing with the elbow. I wasn't sure on Micah Hyde because, like I said, I haven't been able to watch him much. So yeah, I think the Lions will put up points. I think they'll put up points on those guys if they can get enough stops on Josh Allen or force him to get into some situations where he turned the ball over. The Lions got a chance.
They got a
They got
chance.
a chance.
They can score with anyone. We know that at this point. But as you mentioned, containing Stephon Diggs is going to be a problem, especially because Jeff Okudah probably not going to play in concussion protocol. So, what would your game plan be for Stephon Diggs on one side, the big play Gabe Davis on the opposite side, without Okudah? Are you changing your defense much, or are you just kind of going with a similar plan, but you're going to mix and match some things in?
Well, you're gonna have to mix and match some things, and you can't just be one side. You got to play the chess match and do timely things. But you also got to challenge your money. He got to step up and be a big time player, like he was last year. I don't know, if he came into the season and his mind just wasn't right, and maybe getting benched a couple games can refocus you. But you got to challenge your money that he got to step up and be a good player. No, we don't expect you to shut Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis completely down, but you got to step up and be a big time player for us on Thanksgiving Day. That's really what it is. You got to have good safety play. Kirby Joseph has been playing great. We got to continue to, get out to the ball, turn the ball over, try to force turnovers. And then, Aiden Hutchinson, 3 weeks in a row, he's been making impact plays, and I think he's going to continue to do that. It's probably going to be one of my bold predictions of the week. I got to do a bold prediction, and it's probably going to be Aiden Hutchinson. It's probably going to have the trifecta on Thanksgiving Day. That's going to be my bold prediction. Um, and that's meaning sack, forced fumble, and an interception on Thanksgiving Day.
Woo! And hopefully one of those can be for a touchdown, maybe recover his own fumble, maybe the pick six. Oh, Glover, I am getting excited, especially against Josh Allen, too, who is a playmaker, a star in the NFL, top two quarterback in terms of how the football media treats him, and alongside Patrick Mahomes, the future of the NFL. And he's extremely mobile, which is something the Lions have struggled with every quarterback that they've faced.
Right, and I think Josh is a little different. I mean, I think Josh, once he get to a point where he want to try to do something, especially if they're behind, he's gonna start taking off running the ball. But I think with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, I think sometimes, Josh Allen running the ball may not be that bad depending on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you don't want him to just continue to run the ball all the way down the field and score a touchdown on you. But you also don't want him throwing a 98-yard bomb to Gabe Davis either, right? So I think the Lions would do a good job. They've faced good running quarterbacks all year. They'll contain and make plays when they're supposed to. And I think sometimes when quarterbacks get to running too much, I think it's kind of like something that goes off in their heads, like, bro, I've been running too much. I need to like try to throw the ball. And I think they'll try to sit in the pocket and try to throw the ball a little bit longer than they really need to, and to give the Lions a chance to make a play. So I don't fear, Josh Allen running the ball as much, even though he is a great runner. Um, but the Lions have struggled with that. I think they'll be better with it. And I think, this game plan, what they'll try to do against the Lions will be similar to what the Giants tried to do last week. Um, they'll get a couple, zone replays, couple, run pass options with the quarterback and the running back. But I don't think they'll feature that, long term throughout the game. Um, and like I said, I think if they come out trying to throw the ball, to get Stephon Diggs going, to get Gabe Davis going, if they can force Josh Allen into a couple early mistakes, I think that'll help them later on in the game.
And hopefully that comes to fruition. Hopefully that they can just play good, solid defense the way that they have lately. And not only solid defense, but some spectacular defense at time. Make some plays, force some interceptions. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm just so excited to see how this pans out. Truly, on a 3-game win streak, possibly the biggest test the Lions are going to have all season with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a huge game for the Detroit Lions. Like you said, 3-game win streak. You're at home. It's Thanksgiving Day. It's a big, big, big day for the Detroit Lions. But it's also a very, 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 very important game for the Buffalo Bills, because right now they're sitting in the wild card spot at 7-3 or 6-3, whatever they are, 7-3. They lose this game and get to 7-4. They may be sitting on the outside of the playoffs at this point, depending on what happens with the Patriots and depending on what happens with some of these other teams. And so I don't think they want that to happen. I mean, they go from being a favorite in the Super Bowl, number one team in the AFC and all these different things, to now you almost on the outside looking in. And I think a lot of that has to do with the play of their secondary. They don't have the secondary that they've had in the past with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Those guys, I think, both had 5 interceptions apiece last year, something like that, right? And then with Tre'Davious White at the corner, you're getting big plays from the secondary. They don't have that right now, so I don't think their defense, especially the secondary, is as strong. So that puts more pressure on the offense and more pressure on the D line. And when they can't deliver, then they're susceptible to giving up points. And so I think the Lions will score points on those guys. And I think if the Bills don't get off to a great start, it could be a great day in Detroit tomorrow.
And so in the post game, whether it's win or lose, obviously game ends, you go into the locker room, and the Cowboys will be on shortly after that. Does the locker room do anything after the game, Thanksgiving wise, or maybe watch the Cowboys game, or do you just kind of get dressed, get ready to go home, and spend time with your family?
Man, you getting out of there, man. We not hanging out watching the Cowboys game, man. No, at least I wouldn't. Um, they didn't even. I don't even remember them having the games on when I was after the post game when I was playing. So, man, you play your game and your game's over with. You're trying to get dressed and get out of there so you can go enjoy your family. That's the cool thing about being a Detroit Lion is, you get to play the early game. You know what I'm saying? You play the early game, you play at 12:30, you're done by 3. You're home by 4:30, 5 o'clock, and you're enjoying Thanksgiving dinner and watching the second half of the Cowboys game, and you get the late night game or the evening game to watch. So it's a great day to be able to enjoy your family, play a football game, and then you obviously should get probably Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Get you a nice long weekend with your family as well. So it's a great time.
Lots of family, lots of food, lots of leftovers for the rest of the weekend, I'm imagining. Glover, I gotta ask, what is your 101 of Thanksgiving food? If you have the first overall pick in the Thanksgiving draft, what are you taking first?
Mm, what am I taking first? Well, I will say I do love I love a lot of Thanksgiving food, man. I love the this is gonna be a tough pick, man. I love dressing. I love the I'm probably gonna go with my mom makes a really and my sister makes a really good spaghetti casserole. Chicken spaghetti casserole is phenomenal. I'm probably taking that number one overall. I'm probably taking that number one overall. This chicken spaghetti. Number two, I'm taking whatever you want to call them, some sweet potatoes, candy yams. Taking that number two overall. Number three, I'm going with the dressing or stuffing, whatever you want to call it. And number four, I'm topping it off with the turkey.
Those are great power rankings. Those are absolutely phenomenal. My mouth is watering thinking
Mm,
about this
mm,
casserole. Just
mm.
absolutely wonderful. Now,
Like,
I'll be. I think we're having bratwurst tomorrow. Get
mhm.
grilling up some sausages in the tailgate, so it won't be the full Thanksgiving meal, but maybe after the game we can enjoy some of that.
Oh yeah, man. It'll be fun be at the game tailgating for Thanksgiving, man. That's always fun. And I think so many times we do the traditional thing, but sometimes it's cool to do something different on the holidays. And so that'd be fun to go to the game.
Oh, absolutely, and it'd be even more fun if we get the win. And then after that, oh, Cowboys versus Giants. I'm kind of rooting for the Cowboys, which doesn't happen too often, but better chance for the Lions to pass the Giants in the playoff standings because of the head to head win. And there's another added layer to this Cowboys and Giants game, not just the rivalry, which we all know about, but it kind of feels it's winner take all for Odell Beckham. He's narrowed it down to two teams, the Cowboys and the Giants. He's going to sign with one of those apparently, and they play each other. That's that just screams I'm waiting to see who is better.
You know, I think yeah, that's really what's gonna happen because when you're a guy like Odell Beckham, coming in at this time of the year, you're not going to a team that's not going to make the playoffs, man, because you've missed, 10 games this season. So you're not going to a team that's going to be done or supposed to be done in week 17. You want to go to a team where you're going to have an opportunity to play 3 or 4 extra games in the playoffs and help a team win a Super Bowl. That's where you're going. That's why you see Sue sign with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm pretty sure he could have signed with some team that was not in playoff contention, but why would I? Why would I go somewhere where I'm not going to have a chance to win a Super Bowl at this point in my career? So Sue gets opportunity, signs with the Eagles. That's where I'm going to go. Why? They got an opportunity to win a Super Bowl this year. It's going to be the same thing for Odell Beckham. He's narrowed it down to those two teams. Both of those two teams are in the playoff race right now. So if the Giants win, that's going to give them the upper hand on the Cowboys. So they will probably be in the driver's seat, controlling their own destiny. And it'd be great for Odell Beckham to, re-sign with the Giants because that's where his career and his stardom took off at in the NFL. But then again, if the Giants lose and the Cowboys win, then the Cowboys will be in the driver's seat and they'll have a better shot at making the playoffs. And then that'll be a big deal for Odell Beckham because now he'll be playing with the star on his helmet. And what bigger star, can you add to the star on your helmet than Odell Beckham? So he'll be a great, great, great addition with CeeDee Lamb, Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, those guys. He'll definitely make their offense way more dynamic. Their defense has been playing great. And I feel like power ranking wise, Super Bowl odds wise, they would definitely jump up multiple spots with adding a player like Odell Beckham.
Especially with another matchup against the Eagles coming up in a couple weeks. Odell changes the complexion of that. Even with just a couple practices under his belt, Odell is just such an exciting talent. Did you ever play against Odell back when he was with the Giants?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We practiced against them for a whole week
Right.
during the
Right.
preseason, and then we played them. We played them. Ooh, can't remember. We would have played them. Well, I can't remember what year that was. 2000. We played on a Monday night, I think, one year. Or was it a Sunday night? We played on Monday night of 2014, but I don't think Odell was there in 2014. If he was a super young guy. When did Odell come in?
When did he come in? He because he missed the first 9
Yeah,
games of his career too.
yeah, I think he might have came in 14, but he just missed the first game because we played
I
him
think you might be
opening day.
right. He was
Um,
drafted in 2014. Yep. So he
yeah,
was out with the
yeah,
groin hernia, whatever we want to call
yeah.
it.
So he didn't play that year, and then I think it was the 2016 maybe. We played the Giants in New York, and Odell played 16 or 17, one of them. He might have played him in 18 with Coach Patricia as well. I can't remember exactly, but I know I played against him a couple times.
You just played too many stars at too many different times in different years. It's hard to keep track of all the players you made plays on. Truly, the list is limitless.
It is, I think about that. When I think about all of the major players that I played against, I mean, you play in the NFL for 10 years and you start every game and you play every game. Some guy's gonna make some plays on you. That's a part of it. But I think for the most part, I'm not on too many people's highlight videos.
No.
I think probably the biggest highlight, obviously, is probably LaShawn McCoy in the snow, and I feel like that was a lot of snow related. That was awful conditions. But for the most part, I'm not on a lot of players' highlights, but there's a lot of players on mine.
There's a lot of
So
players on yours, a lot of quarterbacks on yours,
a
but not
lot of
just quarterbacks.
quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of the top guys, and that's what I love, man. Just the top guys of our like era, man. And speaking of that, and I don't want to change the subject too much, but my goodness, have you seen the Hall of Fame list?
Yes.
OMG. Like this right here, I think is when the Hall of Fame stuff starts getting way more interesting to our people nowadays because the names that are showing up on the Hall of Fame list are the names that we grew up watching. No disrespect to the older players from back in the day. Some of those guys, all those guys obviously were great players, right? They're Hall of Fame, caliber players, but the players that are on there now are guys that we grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? You're getting these guys, Darrell Reeves, you're getting Andre Johnson, Steve Smith, like all these guys that are fresh in your mind, and all of them can't go in. And it's just like, wow. Like I'm looking at the list and I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't even know who to put in. I really don't.
Especially when you start comparing position to position. Like, how do you make a decision between DeMarcus Ware and Dwight Freeney at edge? How
You're
do you
right.
make it? decision between wide receivers Andre Johnson, Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne.
Torrey Holt.
It's it is so deep and so elite, this
I
Hall
mean,
of Fame class.
listen to this list, this group. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Rondé Barber, Anquan Bolden, Henry Ellard, Jari Evans, London Fletcher, Dwight Freeney, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Albert Lewis, Robert Mathis, Darrell Reeves, Steve Smith, Fred Taylor, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, Hines Ward, DeMarcus Webb, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, Vince Wilfork, Patrick Willis, Darren Woodson. Wow. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the Hall of Fame committee because I just do not know. That's a lot of guys on there that in my book are Hall of Fame worthy.
Absolutely, and a lot of people that should be first ballot Hall of Famers, a lot of people that shouldn't have to wait, but that's just not how it works. The decisions are complicated, they are endless. It's going to be crazy to see what ends up happening. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you played with two players that are eligible for the Hall of Fame right now. Dwight Freeney, you spent some time with in your last year, or his last year in Detroit, your second last year. And we also saw, of course, you and Andre Johnson. You've talked about him eating his Subway on the couch and how awe-inspiring that was.
Oh yeah, I play with Andre, I play with Dwight Freeney, and I play with Anquan Bolden.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Obviously.
yeah.
How did I?
And then I played with Devin Hester at the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
Um, and that would be it. I never played with Reggie or Vince. Yeah, that would be it. Anquan Bolden, Andre Johnson, and Dwight Freeney.
That's pretty
Great
pretty good
players, man.
list.
Great players, man. Great players. And the thing that you see a lot of times from a lot of these Hall of Famers is the ability to do it at a high level for a long period of time. That's what really makes a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that would be something that hurt Patrick Willis because he did it at a high level, but he did it for like 8 years, right? But we seen that didn't hurt Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was able to get in doing it at a high level for a short period of time. So hopefully Pat Will can get in. But the thing that you see from a lot of these players is just being able to play at a high level for 10, 12, 13, 14 years. That's very impressive. So congrats to all those guys, man. It'd be interesting to see who gets in.
It will. And final question on this Hall of Fame. When Dwight Freeney came to Detroit late in the season, what was that like? Does he have that aura that you would expect from Dwight Freeney? Just how good he is and how many strip sacks he's had.
Yeah, I mean, he had that, you know what I'm saying? You knew that. I mean, he was actually smaller than I thought he was. And like I said, I grew up in the league at the wrath of Dwight Freeney, right? Because I was playing with the Texans, and so the Texans and the Colts were in the same division. So we had to play against the Colts twice a year. So twice a year, we're having to deal with Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. Both of those guys are on the Hall of Fame ballot right now. So you know what type of game and type of day it was for our offense having to deal with those guys. But when he got there, you just felt like, and he was towards the end of his career, obviously, but you still just felt like he had that, like, he's a great sack guy. He's a spin artist. Like, he just knew the game. He played hard. He understood all these different things. And so you were just excited to have him, and you knew at some point he was going to make a play for you. You just was waiting for the strip sack or the spin move and get a sack, or you was waiting for something. And so it was cool to get to meet him and play with him and get some game time with him. And yeah, like you say, have that under my belt. Like, yeah, play with Dwight Freeney, who's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Played with a couple Hall of Famers too. Any other former teammates that are in the Hall already other than Calvin?
No, not that I know of. I don't think the Texans, I don't think anybody's winning that I know of. And
Till
then I don't
JJ
think,
Watt retires.
yeah, JJ Watt to get in. And then, like I said, Andre's gonna get in at some point, hopefully. I don't think that might hurt Andre is I don't think he's loud enough. He's just kind of quiet and, you know, great wide receiver, but he's just kind of quiet. I don't know if he'll get in over, Steve Smith, who's on NFL Network talking all the time. You know, like I think some of those guys may get in a little earlier because Andre just kind of chill. But yeah, I don't think anybody else has gotten in that I play with.
It's coming, though. It is absolutely coming, and it's going to be fun to follow that. Rounding out Thanksgiving, we do have one final game, Patriots at Vikings, which I don't know. Usually the other Thanksgiving, the evening one, it feels like there's a reason behind it. I remember there's a couple times we had the Harbaugh Bowl with Jim and John facing off. It just usually feels like it's a rivalry game or something. Patriots versus Vikings just feels like an odd choice for a Thanksgiving Day game. Should be a fun game though.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't even know what's behind that one. Like you said, there isn't a storyline. There isn't brothers. It isn't, a lot of times they try to do stuff. I feel like the NFL try to do stuff like that because it's Thanksgiving. It's a family holiday. So if I got, two coaches that are brothers, why not bring the team those teams together and then the families can be together. If I got, it would have been perfect. Like, when they have the Bears playing against the Lions, right? Because you got the St. Brown brothers, and it's a close team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know any storylines with the Patriots and the Vikings. Why would they put them on Thanksgiving in primetime hour? I don't know. So hopefully they get rewarded with a great game. The Vikings coming off an awful loss, and the Patriots coming off a dramatic win in the end. So let's see, what carries over to this week. But I don't know. And I don't know if any one of those teams are exciting that you're just looking forward to that game on Sunday night. I mean, Thursday night. Like they put the Cowboys and the Giants Thursday night. Perfect. Like Patriots Vikings would have been a great second game because you wake up early on Thanksgiving and you want to watch the Lions game and you're doing that stuff, and then you probably take that midday nap. You take the midday nap through the Vikings and the Patriots game. Then you wake up and you watch the Cowboys and the Giants and the nightcap, right? That's the storyline. I don't know, like the Patriots aren't an exciting football team to watch. The Vikings, although they are 8-2 now, they're not super just exciting. Like Kirk Cousins isn't super exciting. Justin Jefferson plays phenomenal and he's gritty when he scores a touchdown. And Delvin Cook, yeah, but they're just not like exciting, you know, like a Patrick Mahomes or the Rams last year when they were rolling, or you know what I'm saying, like a Tua and the Cheetah, and so they're not exciting like that. So I don't know how they got this game, but hopefully they get rewarded. Would it been might have been a good game.
Something like that, Kansas City versus Miami, the return of Tyreek Hill, something that's Thanksgiving, even though it's not
Yeah,
family. Even if you want to keep the Vikings, have them play the Rams. I know the Rams aren't who we thought they were, but at least it makes sense. Oh, facing his former boss, how is this? I just don't get it. It's weird.
right. Yeah, I don't get that one either. But you know, we're not the NFL. We're not the schedule makers. So, like I said, hopefully they know something that we don't know, and hopefully they get rewarded with a good game.
Let's hope so. And back to the Patriots' last game against the Jets. I don't know if you've been following the Zach Wilson saga, but it is heating up because he was asked, for anyone in the audience who doesn't know, Zach Wilson asked, you only scored 3 points, you completed 9 passes and punted 10 times. Do you feel like you owe your defense for the performance they gave? No, no. That's it. Just a flat no. And then you hear the next day, Justin Fields, after the loss of the Falcons, he tried to apologize to the defensive players in the locker room. He sat everyone down in his post-game speech. We had one drive. I let you down. I'm sorry. And the defense wouldn't let him finish because he was playing through a separated shoulder, and the defense allowed 30 points. So just the dichotomy of Justin Fields trying to take credit and the defense saying, no, we've got your back versus Zach Wilson. Nope, I take no responsibility for this game. And it's clearly rubbed the players the wrong way. Sauce Gardner liking some tweets about, really? You don't think you owe us?
Yeah, it's a team game, right? So
It
you don't
is.
want to get into the and this and that, right? Because like I've always said, you got to be able to win a game in all three ways. When the defense, the Jets, y'all not pitching shutouts and scoring, letting teams score 3 points every single game, right? So when the defense isn't shutting the team out and they're giving up 20, 25, 30 points, then you expect your offense to be able to put up 42 and win the game, right? When the offense is struggling, right, the defense, you expect them to be able to hold teams down. So in that regard, yes, Zach Wilson should have said something about how great the defensive effort was and how great they played and how bad the offense played. Do I feel like we owe them? We're a team and we're trying to, we just had a bad day. They helped us out. They kept us in the game. We got to be able to come through and make some kind of play at the end of the game to help those guys out, right? But as a defense, you're playing that type of game, find a way to score. Find a way to score. Find a way to get a turnover and put it in the end zone, or find a way to get a turnover and put the offense in position to where all they got to do is kick another field goal and you win the game 6-3, right? It's a team game. You can't get in there and say, hey, they owe us, because you never hear a defensive player come out and talk about, hey, man, thank you guys for bailing us out. We gave up 32 points this game, right? Like, you just happy that you won the game and you keep it moving. So I don't want to get into we owe them, they owe us, and this and this and that. You're a team and you're trying to do whatever it takes to win on Sundays. Some days is more offensive, some days it's more defensive, and some days it's more special teams. But at the end of the day, everybody should be trying to do what it takes to win. But the response from Zach Wilson was not great, and I could see how that rubbed a lot of people wrong. He could have easily said, yeah, we played awful today. Our defense played great. We got to make some more plays. We got to find ways to get in the end zone and do something better so that we can get a win, because to hold an NFL team, a Patriots team to 3 points, we got to do our part to try to score points. And he didn't say that. So that's what the issue is, just him feeling like, no, we don't. Like, that's where the issue comes into it.
I completely agree. You don't have to outright say we owed our defense, but you have to say something. You hear it's a setup question. We all know it's a setup question. It's a question to get a soundbite. But every other quarterback, when they're asked that, even Trevor Lawrence, he was asked, do you have some regrets? And he goes through, yeah, there are plays I would like back. I had the goal line interception. There are things that I want to do better, and we're going to work on it, and we're going to get together as a team. That's all you have to say, is that, yep, there were things I'm not happy with. There were things that I am happy with. We're going to work on it. But just the outright no, I think, is what rubbed people the wrong way, because we all know it's a setup question. They want you to answer poorly. Zach just took the bait this time.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But I saw that the Jets are giving them one more start. So, and that's probably just because it's hard to make a change. You got a short week, right? You got
Yeah.
a short week. Well, they don't have a short week. They're playing on Sunday. They're not playing on Thanksgiving. But they're giving them one more week. That's what I saw today. That the Jets are giving them one more week. So we'll see how this week go. I don't know who they're playing. I got to get my picks in for the week anyway. I haven't done my picks yet.
They're up against the Bears, and so they're hoping that it'll be a rebound week. And it's interesting. I'm glad that they are allowing Zach one more chance, and I'm actually really impressed with how Robert Saleh handled this whole situation. He is a top drawer coach, and I think he is going to hold that position in New York for a long time. But when he was asked about it, he said, "You know what? We're going to evaluate. Everything's on the table." And then he comes back and says, "We've evaluated. We're going to roll with Zach, but the scholarship's over." Essentially, is basically what Robert Saleh has decided. So everyone's on an even playing field now. If you're not going to win the game for us, then maybe Joe Flacco or Mike White will.
Right. I mean, Robin Saleh is a great guy. He was in Houston when I was first got there my rookie year. He was there for me, I think, the whole time I was there. Great guy, great coach, and he handled that situation well. It's good to have Super Bowl, quarterback in your back pocket like a Joe Flacco. But Zach Wilson is a talented player. He's, hasn't played that way, but he's a talented guy. So giving him another chance against a Bears team who, this Bears team's been playing some tough games lately, right? Like, I mean, they've been in every game, probably the last 3 or 4 games, and they just haven't found a way to win that game in the end. So you feel like they're gonna get over that hump at some point. This could be the week where they get over that hump. But this also could be a week where Zach Wilson can, regain um, something with his team. And we'll see early on in the game how they really feel. The team will respond to Zach in a positive or a negative way. And if they respond in a negative way, Chicago could jump out on them pretty quickly.
Sometimes you just need to be sat down and given a reality check. We saw it work with the Detroit Lions with Deshaun Elliott. He was benched and is reinserted in the game thanks to injury. And since then, he's been playing much better. Sometimes you just need a wake up call, and that's okay. It is hard to produce in the NFL, especially as a quarterback.
Oh my gosh, yes. Week in and week out. It's very like I used to tell people all the time, and I would say it generally after a game or after a season. The hardest thing to do in the NFL is it again. It's the hardest thing to do. Can you do it again? You go out, Jamal Williams, you went and scored 3 touchdowns. Can you go and do it again? That's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest. You go out and lead the league in rushing for a season. Okay, cool. Can you go do it again? It's hard, man. You went out and had 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Great. Can you do it again? That's the hardest thing to do.
And
So
again and again and again, every single week for 18 plus weeks if you're making the playoffs.
it's hard.
Even longer than that because you got training camp, it's hard to be an NFL player, and I am speaking from no experience whatsoever. I just know it is impossibly hard.
It is. And so, you expect certain things from these teams right now. Like I think the Eagles are happy to be going through that little lull right now. They lost the game. They're not playing, not winning as great as they were winning early in the season. So I think they like that at this point. I think the Bills are also in that boat where, they've rolled high for so long. Then you go through that little midseason lull. And it's all about when that lull hits, right? You want it to hit right now, so you can have 2 or 3 game stretch where you're not this and that. You find little ways to win, the ugly wins, or you lose one here or there, but then you still have another 5 or 6 games down the stretch, the end of November and throughout December and into January to be playing at a high level in the playoffs. Because, like you say, it's very difficult to play at a high level every single week for an entire season. So teams are going to go through that lull, and you just want it to be timed up to where you're not going through your lull in January when it's time for the playoffs.
And hopefully the Lions will continue to build, coming off their lull to start the season with a win against the Buffalo Bills. Glover, before we get you out of here, pluggables to plug and all that, but have to know score prediction. You don't have to tell us every game, just Lions, Bills.
Mm. Lions, Bills. Whew. This is a tough one. I think the Lions will be able to score some points on those guys. I think the Bills will come out a little sluggish with all the travel and back and forth and the things going on. I think the Lions will jump out early. I think the Bills will make a run. And I think I'm going to go with the Lions win again on Thanksgiving. I'm going to go with the Lions win. And I'm going to go once again 31 28.
That was going to be my pick. That was going to be my pick. 31-28, Detroit Lions win against who everyone thought was the best team in the NFL for months until the last couple of weeks. Glover, thank you so much. Always such a pleasure getting to hear your thoughts, your insights, your Thanksgiving history. Any final thoughts, pluggables to plug before we get you out of here?
Man, just have a happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, enjoy your family, enjoy your food, hug your loved ones, and enjoy some football.
I know we will all be enjoying some Detroit Lions football tomorrow. Make sure if you are betting on the game, you check out our sponsors, betonline.ag. And until we hear the results of this game, until we're back from this little Thanksgiving break, we will see you next time.